Alright, we're going to use this picture to kind of label the basic heart without those crazy lines. So real simple. We have right atria, right ventricle. Left atria, left ventricle. And so real simple, the blood goes from right atria to right ventricle, out to the lungs, comes back from the lungs into the left atria and left ventricle, and then it goes out to the body. So for simplicity's sake, to describe the blood flow of the heart through all these parts. We need to label how the blood gets into the heart. The blood right here comes from the vena cava, and this probably would be the inferior vena cava, and this would be the superior vena cava. The blood goes through this valve here. This valve is the right AV valve, right? Atrioventricular valve, or we could call it the tricuspid valve. On this side, the blood is going to the lungs and has to get there through this blood vessel. This is the pulmonary artery. Remember, artery goes away, and where's it going away to? It's going to the lungs, so that's why we call it the pulmonary artery. The blood is coming back from the lungs through these veins here. These are the pulmonary veins. And there are two of them. There's a left and a right, because the left would bring the lungs from the left pulmonary. The left pulmonary vein would bring the lungs. The left pulmonary vein would bring the blood from the left lung. The right pulmonary vein is going to bring the blood from the right lung into the heart. The blood goes through here, which is another valve. This is the left atrioventricular valve. If you don't like that, you could call it bicuspid. Because we always ride our tricycles before we learn to ride our bicycles. Or the mitral valve. 3 different names for the same valve. Okay. Then the blood goes up and out of here to this big blood vessel called the aorta. Now, you'll notice here and here, there are also valves. And those valves have a name. They're both semilunar valves, so semilunar valve, because they say it looks like a half moon. This is also a semilunar valve. And where is it? Where's it going? Pulmonary, so that's the name. This is the pulmonary semilunar valve because it is the valve in the pulmonary artery. And this is tricky here. This is the valve of the aorta, so this is the aortic semilunar valve. Now, the interesting thing about these valves are usually shut unless there's blood being forced through them. These AV valves, this one and this one, these are usually open unless there's blood being pushed against them. When the heart contracts, it'll shut this valve and it'll force the blood to open this valve. So there's kind of an interesting little detail there. This little doodad is a prosthetic heart valve. This tap actually happens to be the pulmonary version. A patient would have this installed, surgically inserted in their heart into the end of the pulmonary artery, and you would have it installed as thus, where the V. So when the heart contracts, it would force blood through, and then the blood would shut it. Blood opens, blood shuts, blood opens, blood shuts, blood opens. So contract, pushes blood. Relaxes, shuts. Contracts, pushes the blood. Okay. So kind of a neat little device to replace a patient's valve who doesn't work. Alright, so tracing the blood through the heart. So it comes from the body. Then it goes to the right atria. Then it goes to the right ventricle. And it goes to the lungs. Then it goes to the left. Just kidding, you can't see that, can you? Left atria and the left ventricle. And it goes to the body. So boom, 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 boom. Bam. Body, right, right. Lungs, left, left. Body, right, right. Lungs, left, left. But of course, it's not that simple. There's more detail. How does the blood get from the body to the atria to the vena cavas? Okay. How does the blood get from the right atria to the right ventricle? That would be the tricuspid valve. How does the blood get from the right ventricle to the lungs? Pulmonary artery. But, before it can go through that artery, it has to go through the pulmonary semilunar valve. It goes to the lungs, returns from the lungs through the pulmonary vein. From the pulmonary veins, it goes to the left atria to the left ventricle. How does it get there? It has to go through a valve. Which valve? The bicuspid valve. Then the blood goes from the left ventricle to the body. How does it get there? It goes through the aorta. But before it goes through the aorta, it has to go through the aortic semilunar valve. So here is a basic breakdown of how blood travels through the heart. Body, right, right. Lungs, left, left. So how does the body's blood get from the right atria to the right ventricle? Through the tricuspid valve. How does the blood get from the lungs to the left atria? Pulmonary veins. How does the blood get from the left ventricle to the body?
Oh yeah.
Goes through the aorta, but before it enters the aorta, it has to go through the aortic valve. All right, next video we'll cover heart sound.